Hey, good morning, folks. This is Anthony with themovieblog.com, and I'm back here with another video. This one is going to be about Flashpoint, and I'm going to discuss what the possible plot point for the film will be in the upcoming Flash movie. Now, just taking a look back, the DCEU has been a disappointment thus far. It's a shame that a lot of the bad CGI in Justice League distracted focus from a lot of the prior complaints about the DCEU that were being rectified in the Justice League film. We got a new DCEU where things weren't always so dour, and we had a great ensemble of characters in a realized live-action episode of the Justice League cartoon turned into a movie. Now, a lot of people are hearing about the upcoming Flashpoint movie and how it's a golden opportunity for Warner Brothers to course correct their cinematic universe and reboot or refresh the characters while maintaining the in-continuity storylines that have been introduced thus far. With that said, I decided to put this video together giving some insight into Flashpoint and what it's really about and why people are so excited for the potential of this film. Flashpoint has potential to be just as exciting, if not more than any other DCEU film before. So, what is the Flashpoint story about? Diving back into my history with the comic book storyline and the comics in general, I gotta tell you that the story centers around Barry Allen. Now, I know a few of you guys who also watch the Flash TV show like I do. We might know some of these plot points. Let's not spoil it for those in the comments. But let's go ahead and let's just walk into this brand new. Now, Barry Allen, whom we were introduced in the Justice League movie and played by Ezra Miller, Barry suddenly wakes up in a life that looks really familiar to his own, like almost identical. He has the same job, he lives in the same apartment. His normal day-to-day seems almost identical, with some major differences making them apparent. The first clue that something is amiss, that something's wrong in Barry's new world is the meeting with his mother. The Flash's mother is historically, notoriously murdered, with Barry's father innocently being accused and convicted for her death. Barry, believing his father is innocent, devotes his life to becoming a forensic police officer, which is actualized in the Justice League movie. We had that extra scene where Barry talked to his dad about how, he passed the police officer's exam when he visited him in prison. It's a new career for Barry. He's taking up law enforcement. Circling back, with the presence of Barry's mother, he realizes something is obviously wrong in this world that he's in. And that's further evidenced by the fact that he sees one of his notorious villains performing heroic efforts in Central City. When he attempts to intervene and suit up as the Flash, he doesn't have his iconic ring that houses his Flash costume, and he doesn't have access to the Speed Force. Now, there are numerous other differences as well, with the Justice League seemingly absent in this world. They just don't exist. There's no Superman, there's no team, there's no Robins running around, with Cyborg actually being apparent in this world and being the premier hero of the United States. Aquaman and the people of Atlantis are warring with Wonder Woman and the women of Themyscira, and Batman is incomprehensibly darker, more violent, and more vigilant person than we know him to be. Now, I know a few of you guys are out there scratching your heads like, okay, what does this have to, I don't understand what's going on. And how did the world get this way? The change in the world is due squarely on the actions of Barry Allen suddenly deciding that, he has the ability to travel through time. Why not use it for his own advantage and personal gain? So Barry Allen suits up as the Flash, travels through time into the past, and prevents the death of his mother. He saves her life, altering the time stream. Now, I want some of you guys to think back, and if any of you guys are older like I am, just think back to the Future 2 when Doc Emmett was using the chalkboard to explain divergent realities created through time travel. It shouldn't be too complicated to ingest and take in. A lot of media is really doing this whole time travel thing now. It was done in X-Men Days of Future Past. It's done in television and film. With that said, eventually Barry realizes that directly due to his actions, he selfishly went back in time to prevent the death of his mother. Now, understandably, it's something that any one of us would do. Any one of us would do this. If we had the ability to go back, just rewind time and prevent the death of a loved one, we would absolutely do it in a heartbeat. At a drop of a dime, no questions asked. I'm going back through time. He decides to make an effort to prevent that change from even happening. What's his grand solution? Go back in time again and stop his past self from saving his mother. It worked to an extent, but the result was a new world that was still kind of similar to the one that he left in the original timeline, but there are differences. One of the major differences, all of the characters are younger, all of them, and they're less experienced, but they're similar enough to his original world, and due to some comic book writing, Barry's memory of the old world prior starts to fade, but he decides to leave well enough alone and just living on in this world. Now, it's a really touching story. It was written by Geoff Johns, the actual president, and I think he's still in charge of the DCEU. It's a really great story that he wrote a few years back. It really dives into the characters, their motivations, and it actually touches on the idea of familial relationships in surprising ways. Really great stuff, especially when it comes to Batman. Now, I know a lot of you guys might be just already checked out, dismissed this, like, wow, comic books, whatever. Now, the idea that the DCEU is going to be inspired by these events and adapt this storyline to make similar changes to their cinematic universe moving forward in a new and revitalized cinematic universe, leaving the opportunity for recasting, maybe some story adjustments, maybe we'll even get the Martian Manhunter in a movie. I can dream, can I? That being said, I highly recommend that any of you guys watching track down and read the original Flashpoint story in comic or trade paperback, or if you don't have time for that, watch the animated adaptation. I think I remember seeing it on Netflix. It might be on Amazon too. And let me know what you think of this idea in the comments. Now, I'm really curious if you guys think this is a good idea or if it's more of the same from DCEU. I'm honestly really on the fence about the idea myself. I swore off watching DCEU movies in theaters after Batman v Superman. Wonder Woman was okay, but Justice League, as much as I enjoyed it, that CGI was really distracting, and I understand why audiences reacted the way that they did. But what do you guys think? Is this something that can help move their cohesive universe moving forward, or is this a step in the wrong direction? Now, this is just a potential plot point for Flashpoint. Now, if they actually decide to go that far, I think there's rumors of Ben Affleck's Batman appearing and Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. If they decide to go that route, it is a possible outcome of the way they handle things, but absolutely not a guarantee. On that note, that's all I have for this one. If you guys have any comments or questions about the Flashpoint storyline, I'll be happy to see if I can answer those questions. Just make sure to drop a comment. And if you appreciate what your boy is doing here, please make sure you drop a like. That's all I got for this one. I'll check you guys later. Peace.